There's the Thunderbird parked outside this house, and this house, can you see that this is called Beck's Croft? Well, up this alleyway here used to be a doorway just here, and there was this tiny little sort of cottage, and up here where these houses have been built, up here was a big yard. Actually, that might have been the cottage. I might have got mistaken there. I think this might have been the little cottage. And up here was a big grass yard. And we saw the car in the yard. And that footpath there, we were told to walk down the footpath and look over the fence, and there would be a Thunderbird. And there we walked down the thing, looked over the fence, and there was the Thunderbird. And we knocked on this tiny little cottage, and there was an old lady in there. And we asked who might own the Thunderbird in the back. He says, you might. Well, it's the lady that lives in this house here, this house. And it was Mrs. Beck. And that's why. Good Lord. And that's why this is called Beck's Croft. And the car belonged to her son, Peter. And there it is now, 39 years later. Outside where I got it from, we brought it down this alleyway, we pushed it down this alleyway, and we loaded it onto a trailer right here, outside that barber shop there. I think it was a butcher's then. But anyway, that's my little story. And this was Mrs. Beck's, and I bought it from her son, Peter Beck. Right, that's my little story anyway. Let's get out of here because I'm parked on the wrong side of the road. So here we go, we're in the Thunderbird, we're in Henley In Arden. Having got to where I bought the car from all those years ago. It's a beautiful day. And you can tell the place is very popular by the number of cars that are parked alongside. Do a right here. Go up round the back, come back down to the main road. Looking for the other end of that. There it is. There's no, it ain't. Here's the station, and somewhere opposite the end of the station is the footpath that leads down to where there's the footpath, I think. Yeah, that's it. That's the footpath that I walked down and then found the car on the right. And you wouldn't believe it, what the guy Peter, he'd spent some time in America. I mean, he bought this car in the UK, but he'd spent some time in America. And he went a couple of times and he brought a car back with him. Both times. And the one car, oh, my door's not closed. The one, see how popular it is with people, look. The one car was a Yenko Camaro. A very unusual one, it was a 302. Now, I always thought of a 302 as a Ford engine, but Chevy built some 302s. Now, I don't know too much about this, don't quote me, but my understanding is they were like a homologation special, because it's a 5 litre in it, 302. And this particular Camaro was built by Yenko, and it had a manual box. And it was a shame because he'd just sold the Camaro before I stumbled across this car, because actually now I think back, we were actually told there was a Camaro, and we went looking for the Camaro and we found the T-Bird. Somebody else bought the Camaro but didn't like it because the idle was so rough. It had twin competition carters on a high-rise tunnel ramp. You know, yeah, so it ain't going to idle very well, is it? I'm just wondering why these cars are going so slow. Is it a cyclist? Yeah, it's somebody on a bike. So anyway, the other car he'd got was a Dodge Challenger. It was a Dodge Challenger. And it was like quite a desirable car in many ways. It was a 383 big block manual, and it was a convertible. Now personally I'd have preferred you know, the coupe sort of top, but nonetheless it was quite a desirable car. 383 ragtop convertible. And I tried to buy that as well a little bit later, but I sort of missed it. But anyway, out of the 3 cars he had, they were 3 nice cars, you know, 3 desirable cars, and I ended up with one of them. I'm hoping that my phone will capture the audio okay and not be too blustery, because when I tried this before it was terrible. I used my phone when I drove to Henley, but I think it turned off a short way into the journey, so I'm just recording a bit more, so forgive me if I've said something already. So I imagine when Peter owned this car back in the, well, when would it have been? Early 70s probably. He would have driven up and down this road many times, you know, all the time really, because if you live in Henley you use this road a lot. This is Henley In Arden near Stratford, not to be confused with Henley on Thames where they do the boating regatta. It's a lovely day, and I'm pleased I've been able to get the car back to where I got it from all those years ago. It was also nice that whoever was in charge decided to name that little alleyway after Mrs. Beck. She was a lovely old lady. Me and my friend went round there to ask about the car. She asked us in. She couldn't see very well. She got cataracts, and she just managed to blow the oven up. I don't know how she did it, but anyway, she asked me and my friend if we'd like a cup of tea. So we said, yeah, all right, please, Mrs. Beck. So me and my mate Ian, we were sitting in the little summer house in that back yard at the top there, reading all of Peter's hot rod magazines in the summer house, drinking cups of tea. Crazy. Then I tracked Peter down, we got to talk to Peter, and then we did a deal to buy the car. Then I spent, you know, years fixing it up. It's quite daunting when, I was only 21. It was the first major job I'd ever undertaken, and it was a big job. This is Hockley Heath, so you have to watch your speed through here. It's got that 30-mile-an-hour limit. There's a garage here that sell Rolls Royces and or is it Bentleys, I'm not sure, and McLarens, very posh. Well, there's a smart looking car, don't know what that was. So you have to watch your speed. You don't realise your mind suddenly, you know, you start thinking about something and you're just going at what you'd call a natural speed, but you end up going too fast. I think the speedo reads a bit slow in this, from memory. Did I tell you the story about the hardtop? The hardtop on this car was it's a very rare hardtop. It's the 1957 optional non-porthole top. When these cars came out in 55, they had no portholes. And then in 56 they introduced the porthole as an option. And many 55s and 56s that were non-porthole had the portholes fitted later at dealers, or later by an owner later. When the 57 came out, the porthole was standard, and most people preferred that, but occasionally somebody would want a non-porthole and they'd have to opt for the non-porthole top, the 57 non-porthole top, which is different than a 55 and a 56. Now I like to drive with the top off, and I restored the soft top for this car, so it's got the soft top behind the seat. So after I fixed the soft top up, which was probably a couple of years after I got the car on the road, the hard top was always in the way. So I put it into my friend's barn. I stored it at my friend's barn. And the one day he says to me, he says, "Mart, where's your hard top?" I said, "It's in your barn, innit?" He says, "I couldn't see it." Anyway, long story short, it turned out it had been stolen. So I thought, oh dear. I wasn't very pleased about that because of its rarity. This is in England, where am I going to find a Thunderbird hardtop? So I sort of just kindly forgot about it. I decided not to get upset about it. And anyway, about 2 months ago, a friend saw a hardtop for sale on Facebook, and I had a look, and it was my hardtop. So again, long story short, I didn't really know what to do for the best, but I thought, well, I'll just go and have a look at it and have a chat with whoever's got it and kind of weigh them up. So they were asking £500 for it. So I thought, worst comes to worst, I'll just buy it back. So I went with a couple of friends, a couple of handy looking mates, in my pickup, so that we could get the hardtop, put it in the pickup and go. And I was talking to the guys, and I asked him if it owed him much. In other words, did he pay a lot for it? Kind of fishing for how he got it. He says, no, not really. He said, don't owe me much. He said he got it. It was in the back of a van that they bought. They buy vans to break or export. I said, I'm glad it doesn't owe you much, because you probably don't realise this, but this was stolen from a barn about 7 miles from there, like where we were. And he looked a bit shocked. So basically I just said to him, I'm very pleased to see this top back. I'm very glad that you I was trying to play it cagey, but I said, anyway, the bottom line was basically I said, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to give you 60 quid. I'll shake your hand, we'll take the top and we'll go. And he very begrudgingly said okay, because he thought he was onto a winner. He thought he got something valuable. Well, it would be valuable if it weren't stolen. And I viewed the fact that I'd give him 60 quid as, you know, basically, you know, in a way, he'd helped me find it. And I don't believe for a minute he'd stolen it. Anyway, so I managed to get it back, and there are photos of the car with the top on it. That's why it looks a bit sort of just thrown on there, because it was thrown on there. Anyway, here we are. We're virtually back at the house now, so I hope you've enjoyed that little ride out. And a little bit of story, a little bit of history, a little bit of the story of the car and things associated with it. This bloke's got some handy looking storage containers, look, lockers and things. Wonder where he's got them from. Have to watch it, people pulling out of here. Sometimes they pull out when you don't expect it. There, we're back at Mart. Do a wide swing, get on the drive. The old pickup there, look, what a beaut. There we go. Up the drive in the shade. Don't know if you can make it out, but there's a lovely V8 burble. Amazingly, we're still recording. Can you hear the noise? There's the camera there, look, spoiling the lines of the car. Hopefully that's still recording as well. Oh.